Sigma ladies, today we're unraveling a dynamic that's rarely discussed in depth, a confrontation of energy and mindset that flips the traditional script. Alpha females, those commanding, assertive powerhouses, are used to being the dominant force in the room. But when they encounter a Sigma female, the rules change entirely. This isn't just about personalities clashing. It's about how the Sigma's unshakable presence and internal strength redefine what power truly means. While Alphas may seek to control, we simply exist in our mastery, leaving them no choice but to step aside. If you're curious why Alpha females never cross the quiet, unyielding force of the Sigma female, you're in the right place. Let's explore the untold truths together. And before we begin, make sure you subscribe to join our growing community of Sigma ladies. It's time to own our narrative. 1. Sigmas redefine power dynamics. For most Alphas, power is about domination, establishing a clear hierarchy and ensuring their spot at the top is secure. They thrive in a structure where roles are predefined: leaders, followers, rivals. But Sigma females, we don't play by those rules. Sigma females operate outside of the hierarchy entirely. We don't aim for the top because we don't seek external validation to define our worth. Instead, we carve out our own unique space. This creates a fundamental shift in the dynamics of power when we encounter an Alpha. They don't know how to dominate someone who refuses to compete. When Alphas attempt to assert dominance, they're met with disinterest. We don't challenge their authority because we simply don't care to. This confuses and frustrates them because they're used to opposition or submission, not neutrality. A Sigma's ability to dismantle the very framework of hierarchical power leaves Alphas without their usual tools, rendering their strategies ineffective. The art of effortless influence. Alpha females often gain power by exerting control, whether through assertiveness, persuasion, or sheer force of will. Their energy demands attention, and they often dominate social or professional spaces through bold actions. Sigmas, however, don't seek control, and that's exactly why we hold so much influence. Sigmas lead by example. Our actions speak louder than words, and people naturally gravitate toward us without the need for overt displays of authority. This effortless influence comes from a deep sense of self-awareness and authenticity. We don't try to be impressive, we just are. Alphas, on the other hand, are used to fighting for attention and loyalty. When they see a Sigma earning respect without even trying, it disrupts their worldview. They often feel the need to compete, but competition with a Sigma is pointless because we're not interested in winning. Our influence is organic, and that's something an Alpha can't replicate or undermine. 3. We're the wild card. They can't predict. Alphas thrive on structure and strategy. They're excellent at reading people, identifying patterns and exploiting weaknesses to maintain control. But when they encounter a Sigma, they're met with unpredictability, a trait that completely derails their usual tactics. Sigmas are wildcards, not because we're chaotic, but because we're intentional in ways that don't follow traditional logic. We observe, analyze, and act in ways that are deeply personal and intuitive. Alphas can't predict our moves because they can't understand the internal compass that drives us. This unpredictability keeps Alphas on edge. They prefer situations where they can anticipate outcomes and control the narrative. With a Sigma, the rules of engagement are constantly shifting. We're not bound by expectations or conventions, and that makes us a formidable force they'd rather avoid than confront. 4. Emotional intelligence as a superpower. Alphas are known for their external strength and the ability to dominate situations through bold actions and decisive leadership. However, their focus on outward control often leaves them vulnerable to a critical skill they underestimate: emotional intelligence. For Sigmas, emotional intelligence isn't just a tool, it's a superpower. Emotional intelligence allows sigmas to navigate complex social dynamics with precision. While alphas rely on power plays and overt strategies, sigmas read the room. We observe body language, tone, and subtle cues to understand unspoken motives and emotions. This skill gives us an edge in any interaction, as we often see the underlying truth that others miss. For alphas, this is unsettling. They thrive on directness and clarity, but sigmas operate in subtleties. When an alpha attempts to assert dominance, we don't react emotionally or defensively. Instead, we adapt. We use their energy against them, like social aikido, deflecting their force while maintaining our composure. What's more, sigmas understand the alpha's motivations often better than the alpha understands herself. This deeper insight allows us to predict their actions, counter their strategies, and remain unshaken in the process. It's not just about outsmarting them, it's about navigating the situation with grace and precision, leaving them baffled by our resilience. 5. Energy economy, knowing when to engage. One of the Sigma female's greatest strengths is her ability to conserve energy and choose her battles wisely. While alphas are constantly engaging, proving and asserting, Sigmas remain selective. We don't waste time or effort on conflicts or interactions that don't serve our goals or align with our values. This calculated disengagement is something alphas can't understand. They're accustomed to people either submitting to their authority or challenging it head-on. Sigmas, however, do neither. Instead, we step back, evaluate, and decide whether the situation is even worth our time. This frustrates alphas, who thrive on engagement and control. They can't dominate someone who refuses to play the game. By stepping out of the fray, Sigmas maintain their energy, focus on what truly matters, and leave alphas struggling to find a way to assert their influence. This ability to disengage also demonstrates an unparalleled level of self-control. While alphas may react impulsively to challenges, sigmas remain calm, composed, and deliberate. This unshakable restraint only amplifies the sigma's power, leaving alphas unsure how to proceed. 6. The power of self-redirection. Alphas often thrive on external validation. Their leadership style relies on recognition, loyalty, and the ability to influence others. Sigmas, on the other hand, direct their energy inward. Our focus isn't on controlling others, but on mastering ourselves. This inward focus gives sigmas a level of independence that alphas often envy. While alphas need followers to validate their position, sigmas need only their own progress to feel fulfilled. This self-reliance makes us immune to the alpha's attempts to assert dominance or control. When an alpha tries to draw a sigma into her sphere of influence, she quickly realizes it's an impossible task. Sigmas don't seek approval, attention, or validation. Instead, we channel our energy into self-improvement, personal growth, and achieving our goals. This relentless focus on self-mastery creates a force of nature that no alpha can match. By directing our energy inward, we also avoid the distractions and pitfalls of external drama. While alphas may get caught up in rivalries and power struggles, sigmas remain laser-focused on what truly matters. This clarity of purpose makes us not only untouchable, but also unstoppable. 7. A mastery of silence. For alpha females, power often manifests through dominance in conversation. They command attention with their voice, their opinions, and their unwavering presence. But for sigma females, silence is our secret weapon. While alphas speak to assert authority, sigmas speak only when it adds value, and that changes the entire dynamic. Silence, when wielded intentionally, can be more powerful than words. Sigmas use pauses to observe, process, and reflect. This creates a sense of mystery, and unpredictability that keeps alphas on edge. They thrive on controlling conversations, but it's hard to control someone who doesn't react or engage the way they expect. Moreover, our ability to remain silent in the face of confrontation unnerves alphas. They rely on verbal exchanges to dominate, but when a sigma remains calm and quiet, the alpha's energy is deflected. This composure sends a clear message: you can't shake me. Silence also allows sigmas to listen more effectively. While alphas may dominate the discussion, sigmas absorb every detail, noticing inconsistencies, hidden motives, and vulnerabilities. This makes us formidable opponents, not because we speak the loudest, but because we understand the situation better than anyone else. 8. The shadow. They can't escape. Even when an alpha female dominates the room, a sigma female is often the unspoken force they can't ignore. We are the shadow that challenges their spotlight, not by competing with them, but by simply existing as a counterbalance to their energy. Sigmas operate on a different frequency. Our calm confidence and self-assured presence create a stark contrast to the alpha's loud assertiveness. This contrast can be unsettling for alphas, as it forces them to confront aspects of themselves they might prefer to avoid, such as their dependence on external validation. What truly makes us the shadow alphas can't escape is our ability to highlight their insecurities without saying a word. Our authenticity and refusal to conform expose the alpha's need for control and recognition. In our presence, they may feel compelled to prove themselves, but their attempts often fall flat because we're not playing the same game. Sigmas don't seek to overshadow alphas intentionally. It's simply a natural outcome of our unshakable independence and inner strength. This quiet power often leaves alphas questioning their own strategies, making them reluctant to cross us. 9. Unwavering in the face of intimidation. Intimidation is a classic tool in the alpha female's arsenal. They use their commanding presence, sharp words, and bold actions to establish dominance and control situations. But when faced with a sigma female, their tactics fall flat. Sigmas are immune to intimidation because our confidence is deeply rooted in self-awareness. We know who we are, what we stand for, and what we're capable of. This inner strength makes it nearly impossible for external threats or challenges to destabilize us. When an alpha attempts to intimidate, a sigma responds with calmness and composure. We don't rise to the bait or show any signs of vulnerability. This unflinching demeanor often disarms the alpha, leaving them unsure how to proceed. Even in high-pressure situations, sigmas remain grounded. While alphas may react impulsively or aggressively, we maintain control over our emotions and actions. This resilience not only protects us from intimidation, but also commands respect, even from those who initially sought to challenge us. The freedom. They secretly envy alphas, may appear powerful and in control, but their position often comes with a heavy burden. They are tied to the expectations of leadership, the need for recognition, and the constant effort to maintain their dominance. Sigmas, on the other hand, are free from these constraints, and that freedom is something alphas secretly envy. Sigmas don't need to lead or dominate to feel powerful. Our strength comes from within, allowing us to move through life on our terms. This autonomy means we're not beholden to anyone's expectations or approval, giving us a sense of liberation that alphas rarely experience. This freedom also extends to how we interact with others. While alphas often feel the need to assert control in every situation, sigmas are perfectly content to let things unfold naturally. We don't seek to dominate conversations, relationships, or spaces. We simply exist authentically, and that's enough. For alphas, this effortless approach to life can be both fascinating and frustrating. They may admire our independence and authenticity, but it also highlights the limitations of their own approach. This envy, though unspoken, is yet another reason why alphas avoid crossing sigmas. They know they can't compete with someone who doesn't play by the same rules. Sigma ladies. The dynamics between alpha and sigma females aren't about rivalry, they're about perspective. While alphas may rule through assertiveness and control, sigmas dominate by being unapologetically true to ourselves. We don't need to lead to feel powerful, we don't need validation to know our worth, and that's why alphas never dare to cross us. If this video gave you a fresh perspective on your sigma power, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, being a sigma isn't about being the loudest or the strongest. It's about mastering your own life and living with intention. Until next time, stay grounded, stay unpredictable, and keep owning your unique space. This is the Sigma Lady, signing off.